Welcome back to another TradingView technical analysis, and in this video I'm going to cover Ethereum and a few altcoins that I looked at today. Probably going to be a pretty quick analysis I'm hoping for. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday weekend. Let's get to the charts. So here is Ethereum USD on the 1-day time frame. This is the Bybit chart. Same channel I've been covering since the beginning of this year. You got your currently we are above the channel just barely, but we did get a breakout above the channel and then a push right back underneath. And over the past 4 days, 4.5 days so far, like the top of this channel has been very well respected. So it's hard to see on the daily time frame. And again, you are right at your R1 monthly pivot as well. If you go down to a 4-hour, check this out. So look how well respected the top of this channel is, right? So you get your break above here. Look at this. Get a nice close right above here, wick below, but it closes above, push off, come back and back test it. Look at this, same story, right? Nice candle, wick to the downside, close above, you lose the channel, come back up, find resistance at the top of the channel before now you push it back through. You got a back test here and you're trying to push off now, but like look at the respect of this ascending channel. It's just amazing, right? So this, again, this is what Ethereum really wants to hold. I'm going to back off here, back to the daily time frame, a little bit easier to see. I'd really like to see a daily close above around 2140, something like that. And then I would look, higher. You have your one-to-one extension of this fib. You have this fib extension right here. Just putting you about $2,200. That would kind of be my next target. So if we can close above 2140, I think we head to 2200. Targets above, you have your R2 monthly pivot, $2,300, and then really, I'd kind of be eyeballing, 25, 2600, something like that. But I do think, Ethereum's obviously bullish, but you are struggling a bit at the top of this ascending channel, and you can see what happened here last time. You got, you were doing really well, pushed way above it, and then back in the channel. So you see how relevant this is, right? But if we do manage to lose this channel again, I would be eyeballing, for me, it would be this weekly level, and, you have the midpoint of the channel would be an area of interest. And obviously, if we were to come back down to, you have your monthly pivot, bottom of the channel, something like that, that could definitely be an opportunity. You throw on Ichimoku, which I like to do, see if anything lines up. And I mean, it looks like over the course of the next week or so, your Tenkan should be coming kind of up around where your weekly level is. So that would be really nice confluence. And then your daily Kijun down here at the bottom of the channel looks like it's going to be creeping up around where your monthly pivot is. So I do like how this is kind of lining up. That being said, as ETH currently sits, I do like it quite a bit. And it would be nice if we could get the push off here, because I do hold Ethereum. So obviously I want the price to go up. But that being said, you trade the charts, you trade what you got. But it does look good. So overall, looks very bullish. But, as far as potential pullback zones, around, looks like 2000 psychological area. Looks like that's defended pretty well. You got this long wick down to test this, held up nicely. Got a really nice bounce. So, your support's around $2,000, and then you have your weekly, and then you start to, you lose your weekly, then you start to look, I would look back to around where your monthly pivot is. But you do have quite a bit of support to the downside. That's Ethereum. Just wanted to give you a very quick update on that. But a couple of altcoins I'm going to cover. DOC, USDT is one of them. And this is also one because I do have trading bot that trades DOC, and I do trade DOC myself. Outside of that, and I hold quite a bit, so this is kind of one that I do like to keep tabs on from time to time. But kind of as we sit, came right up to your R1 monthly pivot, really long wick. You're getting kind of a lot of sell pressure up here, and kind of as we currently sit, I do think this looks like it's going to come back down a bit further, but I do think it could be a really nice opportunity. So you have your weekly and daily levels here that are underneath you. That's your support, monthly pivot lining up literally right on the daily Qtum, which is nice. So that's a nice area of confluence. And then you could also take some fib retracements. I already see this is a really nice one down here up to your current high. And I always draw my golden pocket, which is not golden currently. Just give me a second. Somewhere around there. And like, I really like this area quite a bit. So you have a weekly level here. You have a daily level here, right at your 6.6. You have your golden pocket, monthly pivot, daily Qtum. I mean, this zone really. So obviously you have your golden pocket, but not to confuse everybody. But you could draw kind of a bigger zone like this. Whoops, wrong one. My bad. So like this zone in general right here, I think could be a really nice opportunity if price does manage to make its way back down. I think you're going to have a bit of support around 13 cents. And obviously you have your daily Tenkan, this blue line here, that's going to be support. And it's also sitting right at this current or this previous high here that got taken out. But I am kind of looking for this to drift down. I think if it does, could be a really nice opportunity. And I will be waiting for that, because I think there's quite a bit of confluence around here for a trade. That being said, I'm going to delete this just so I can kind of clean it up a little bit. Again, this region, very nice region. And, you know, we'll kind of have to play it by ear, see how it goes. But I do kind of lean towards the downside on this a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back down to retest some levels here. Let me pull one more fib, see if anything else lines up. And this is kind of like the start of the really big move, right? So yeah, I mean, there's some interesting things that lines up just on this fib. And the reason why I pull multiple fibs sometimes is because I want to find if there's Fibonacci confluence. Basically what that means is I want to pull multiple fibs and see if the levels on both of the fib pulls that I use line up with anything, you know, that anything that looks good, anything that makes sense. So you have your 0.5 fib lining up right around your golden pocket. That's nice to see. And then your golden pocket here, like this is another level of support. So let's say you break this level, this zone right here. Your next zone that I think would be really nice is this. So this is your larger golden pocket, right? So you have the pull from the very bottom here. It's not technically the very bottom, but it's basically, you see you got a push up here, you got a nice move down, then you really got this big impulsive move here. And so this was the start of like this impulsive move that you see, right? So this is why I took the second fib from here. But you kind of have the secondary, and really, you know, like this is a very relevant pull. You know, it's encompassing more price action, and it sits right, you know, your golden pocket, your 618 starts right on this weekly, which is awesome to see. You have the 886, this red line of your smaller fib. So that's fib confluence, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Another really nice zone right here, just using Fibonacci. So these are kind of your two support zones below where price sits, just to kind of give you an idea. And obviously to the upside, you know, I mean, it's really these wicks. Obviously, I think it's the R1 pivot. Like that's going to be kind of the struggle. So this is your R1 monthly pivot. We'll kind of see how it progresses from here. But you know, it would be, if you can get back above 15 cents, I think, and I think you could start pushing your way back up to this pivot. We'll see how it does. But as it sits, kind of look into the downside on this one. I would think a pullback is in order. And right now, so I deleted that larger fib, just so you can see. I'm gonna just so I can kind of clean things up a little bit. But going back just to this fib, which is very, you know, this is literally this price action, your swing low all the way up to your swing high, which I believe is all-time high. Yeah, this is an all-time high for the USDT pair. But your 382 right here, you see how you don't have any candle closes below it. Sure, price has wicked through, but you don't have any candle closes below your 382 yet. So if you lose your 382, so if you do get like a daily close below your 382, the next fib that I would look for it to go to is your 618, which is sitting right on your weekly, right? Like there's a lot of really good confluence for this zone. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But you lose your 382, I would look for, I would be very interested in coming back down to this, anywhere around 11.5 cents. Basically 10.5 to 11.5 cents, somewhere within that region could be a nice opportunity. But overall, if you look at it from an Ichimoku standpoint, it's bullish. Like Doc is bullish, 100%. Nothing wrong with it. It's had a really nice move up. So a bit of a retracement here. This could be a nice opportunity again. It's not anything out of the ordinary. And as long as the chart continues to look bullish like this, that's, it's just an opportunity to potentially add to your position or, initiate a new position. So that's Doc. Now on to Qtum. So this is something that, I've been kind of eyeballing Qtum for a while. I have a bag of Qtum, so I'm excited that this is obviously finally doing something because I've been in it for quite a while. I don't remember if I've covered it, if I did this in a live stream or whatnot, but anyway, very bullish. Like this, from an Ichimoku standpoint, is incredibly bullish. Like look at your Tenkin, this blue line. Look at your yellow Kijun here. Look at the angulation. Look at the slope look how aggressive your slope is. This is, obviously, right, this is incredibly bullish, but you are coming up to some pretty big resistances in my opinion. So you cleared your weekly level, okay? And look at this weekly level right here at 889. So this weekly level is a really old weekly level. Let me try to kind of back up just to give you, this looks really messy. I'm going to turn off Ichimoku just for a second. But just to point this out, this is on the weekly time frame. So Ichimoku, you have your bullish breakout. Cloud is bullish. Like this is pretty nice to see. But I'm going to turn it off just so that you can kind of see price from an easier perspective. So you have your weekly level that is old. You're talking from 2018 is when this weekly level became a weekly level. So what is that? 2 years ago? 2.5, almost, what's darn near almost 3 years. But you have a weekly level from 2018 and look what happens here in February. Perfectly tested. And it was obviously resistance. You got your big pullback. This is a pretty nice pullback. Top to bottom, that's a 52% pullback once you tag your weekly level from 2018. Unbelievable, but very relevant, right? So if you go back to your daily time frame, here it is. You got your touch of your 2018 weekly, 52% pullback before price came back up to the same weekly, still found resistance around here, then you got through and broke upwards. So now you're sitting at your R2 monthly pivot here. So this is resistance as well. You see when you came through and touched your R1 pivot, this is resistance, right? Tested 3 times before you finally broke through. Now you're coming up to your R2 pivot, tested. So we'll see what happens after this. But what I drew this red box here, as I remember this, I was actually using yearly pivots. And your R5 yearly pivot is sitting right here in this zone, right by your monthly level. This is an old monthly level. Same with this weekly, right? So if I pull out, go back to a kind of higher time frame so you can see, look at this. This monthly level and this weekly, again, from 2018. This is all from 2018. So these old levels, I would not be surprised if they got kind of the same respect that this level did, okay? So this red box that I drew, the reason why I drew this as, and this is going to be, in my opinion, this is going to be a resistance zone. It's very simple. So this is your macro 0.5 fib. So from your all-time high back in 2018 to your swing low here in March 2020, which was the coronavirus crash, right? So look at this price action. First of all, this is hideous. Obviously, like when you're coming from, 2018 onward, but now this looks really good in my opinion. But you have some resistance here. So you have your 0.5 fib, macro fib. So this is all since 2018. You have a monthly level and a weekly level from 2018 that you're coming up on right here. Your R5 yearly pivot is sitting right in the middle of this box. There's quite a bit of confluence here that tells me this zone is going to be pretty tough. But, I do think we're going to come up and test it. So as far as Qtum goes, I would like to see this at least come up and test somewhere inside of this box. Have to take, you take a look at the reaction as it happens. But the monthly level, weekly level, that probably a pretty good place, as far as the take profit were to go. Because the thing about it is if you're able to actually push through this, then you have your global 618 here, which is your macro 618. This is talking about, again, the entire chart. Your golden pocket sitting here at $16. That would be the next target if you're able to break through this. But really, I think that if you're able to reclaim this weekly, essentially, if you are able to make it through this red box here, it wouldn't surprise me to see a reaction off of this golden pocket. Like that happens quite a bit when you're looking at charts like this. But I do think this monthly would come into play. I do really think if we're able to get through this weekly, obviously the golden pocket's a big deal, but I would look for this to push up to the monthly. I think it's very possible. So, as far as, if you're long, this is not a terrible area to book some profits in my opinion, but that's not, obviously do what you want, not financial advice. Because if you are able to push and hold this level, I do think that you have quite a nice move to the upside potential. So that's another, 52% move if you're able to reclaim this weekly level. So there's quite a bit of upside left. And then obviously, like you push up this high, you're close to your all-time high. You have to see kind of how price action looks when you get up to these levels. But, if Bitcoin is super bullish and the market overall looks really good as you come up to these levels, I mean, again, who knows, right? Like the market's doing really well. Altcoins are doing well. A lot of them are pushing pretty hard. A lot of the older coins like, Qtum, again, you see a lot of kind of like the older stuff that's been doing really well. But I think you do have quite a bit of resistance up here. So that's kind of my targets to the upside, something that I would be looking towards. So let's see if we can find anything to the downside. So obviously, like right away, this weekly comes to mind, somewhere around 972 as well. You kind of look at it from this perspective again. Don't see anything here. Probably not going to see anything monthly chart wise. Not really. I mean, yeah, just super, like this is really bullish. When you see this kind of angulation, it's very bullish. Now, what'll happen is you'll start flattening out, like if price stalls around here and starts consolidating, forming a range, you're going to see this start to stall out. And that's kind of your first initial sign that, I mean, obviously, like, you could form a consolidation before you continue higher, but that's usually when you get your pullback opportunities. So, this, your daily keygen's coming up to this weekly level very soon. It's very, maybe a week or so out, depending how price does. But this weekly could be a nice opportunity. And I don't really want to pull, I mean, I will pull a fib from here now just to kind of see if anything lines up. So your golden pocket is sitting right on your daily keygen here, but I don't really expect this to hold. Like, I don't think this is the high, to be honest. I think a pretty good chance we come up and test these upper levels here. I don't think this is your high, but we'll have to kind of wait and see how that goes. But to the downside, you got your Tenkin, your keygen, your weekly, kind of this zone here I would pay attention to. But again, it looks really good. So that's basically all I wanted to cover. So we went over Ethereum, we went over DOC, we went over Qtum. Kind of talked about what I'm expecting there. Qtum looks very good. And I do think we have a bit higher to go. Pull this out just for a second. Just from where we sit, maybe another 6 to 12%, something like that. Wouldn't surprise me we do get the push up to actually formally test these levels. And we'll have to watch the reaction, see how it goes, but I wouldn't be surprised to find quite a bit of resistance in this area. And then DOC, go back to that real quick. I really do think DOC is headed lower. This is one that I would like to see pull back here. I think it could be a nice opportunity back down to this kind of zone that I highlighted earlier in the video. This weekly, daily, your daily Qtum area. There was a monthly pivot here. Really nice, a lot of confluences here in this region. But we'll have to kind of wait and see because we're still pretty far away from that happening, obviously. And then Ethereum, real quick, looks good. You're kind of battling right now with this ascending channel here. If you do end up kind of losing this area, then I've highlighted back to the downside kind of what I'd be looking at, your $2,000 kind of psychological level, but it's also been, you know, it's been defended so far. You lose that, you know, kind of the midpoint of the channel, weekly area. But overall, I'm definitely more bullish on Ethereum than I am bearish for sure. Like Ethereum looks great. And I would like to see it kind of come up to this one-to-one extension here, $2,200 and reevaluate. But that being said, trying to make it a kind of a quicker video tonight. You guys trade safe out there. We'll see you on the next one.